Yo, Charles here, Tempo MTG. I'm gonna make a little series. I'm starting here, climbing mono blue, bronze to mythic, because I love this card. So I'm gonna keep playing it till it rotates out. I grew up playing tons of Magic. Took about 10 years off. Came back in last winter and brewed a mono blue deck around Prophetic Memory and Flow of Knowledge. Ended up qualifying for Dallas, winning an RCQ, and didn't go. But I'm starting to get the itch again, so I want to play some Magic, and I'm going to update the deck. Big changes are from the old list. We lost Ledger Shredder, but we gained Kiora. I think it's pretty even power level wise. Shredder, it's a little different on the curve, but not so different because Ledger Shredder, even though it's a 2-drop, compared to a 3-drop, you'd have to put more mana into it to get the value. And Kiora does some other sweet things for you. For instance, Kiora, I think, is a little more effective in draws where you don't have Prophetic Memory compared to Ledger Shredder. Sometimes you can Kiora and make an 8/8 and win a game off of that, where Ledger Shredder by itself without profts sometimes wasn't as dominating a board presence. Other changes, we lost Fading Hope. I think that's what it's called. Oh, anyway, for a different bounce spell now. We have Into the Flood Maw, which is arguably better. You could play Bounce Off here, but I like that you can bounce enchantments like... if you get lucky against... You could stop an Omniscience combo, but you're probably dead if the Omniscience is already in play. Or against the demon decks, you can bounce the Annex in certain situations. But the basic idea of the deck is Prophetic Memory and then tons of creatures that draw cards when they come into play. So they can pump themselves or pump a relevant attacker that you already have in play, something like that. Cheap removal, like Unable to Stream and Into the Flood Maw. So in the late game, when you Flow of Knowledge, draw 6 or 7 cards, pump your giant guy, and then you have cheap removal to fend off whatever's happening. And you can chain Flow of Knowledges, and you have a really big late game. You can play a tempo early game, and you have a big late game. I'm working on the sideboard. I'm still working on updating this deck for a new standard format, but the sideboard here, I don't think this Diamond Mare is that good, but... So let's see. I do like Aegis Turtle here. I think Aegis Turtle is going to be actually a pretty good plan against the red decks because it'll block Screaming Nemesis really well. And on top of that, if you go turn 1 Aegis Turtle, turn 2 Prophetic Memory, and put a counter on it, it's just really big. I know Monstrous Rage and other things like that are still... They can be problematic, but... As far as blocking goes, I think this is actually a pretty good plan against red. Negate, 4 negates is probably overkill, but like I said, I'm still figuring this out. I had the idea of putting just Obstinate Baloth on the board for the Pixie decks, but it seems too narrow. You'll probably get some people, but smart players are going to play around that. So we're going to get rid of the Baloths, actually. So 4 negate, 4 Aegis Turtle on the board. And then against Domain, the Zur Domain, I just really want to be able to counter Zur. I mean, they might have Cavern, but a lot of the Zur decks aren't playing Cavern right now. So let's try maybe Get Out. Because Get Out, it's going to counter Zur, but on the play, you could also counter up the Beanstalk. So... A lot of times you're not going to hold mana open on turn 2 anyway, but I kind of like the idea of Get Out. And then also maybe Out Cold. No, that's not the card. What's it called? Out of Air. That's the one. Because here, it's the same thing. You can counter Zur and other Overlords. But at the same time, it can come in against Omniscience or other combo decks and just counter whatever you need to in a pinch. So let's see. What else do I want in the board here? So I've got a pile of cards here. I have this in paper as well. Oh yeah, I was thinking that Shore Up. I think that's going to help against red too. Because Shore Up... I kind of want a third one of these. I don't know. That could be overkill. But this is what we're going to try. So 3 Shore Up as well. So here's the board. 4 Aegis Turtle, 4 Negate, 3 Shore Up, 2 Get Out, 4 Out of... I mean, sorry, 2 Out of Air. It's work in progress. Filigree Celix is another sweet card. If tokens are more popular, this could be a good option. This is another option against red too. It's a little slow, but this could be good against red. I'm not really sure. Well, what I'm getting at is this: if tokens are popular, this is another card that hypothetically you could play against Pixie as well. But anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I got to test the deck more because in Magic, no matter how much you theorize, you got to throw your theories into play, or else, yeah, it doesn't really get you anywhere. So let's try it. Yeah, so we're doing a bronze to mythic climb with mono islands. See how we can do. I already climbed from bronze to silver a couple games earlier today, so sorry I didn't show you the beginning, but here we go. Should be exciting. What else could I talk about? While we're waiting here, we're at 37 seconds. Everyone's afraid of... Okay, here they come. Alrighty. I'm going to play first. Going first. Yeah, we like this curve. Turn 1 Spyglass into turn 2 Prof. So that's perfect. Then hopefully we can bridge somewhere in the middle to get us to this flow endgame. But this is a perfect 1-2. Turn 2. Boom. Prophetic Memory. Buff our guy. And get in there. Okay. We get playing against red-green. Okay. Red-green ramp. Okay, this is not an ideal draw. Okay, so here I'm going to start with the opt. I would like to get more +1/+1 counters here. The opt opposed to the sleight of hand. And I want to do opt before the map, because if we map something we want on top, then we're not actually getting the scry value by opting second. Into the Flood Maw is probably good against ramp, but I just really need to hit lands here. So we're going to go bottom and draw. Okay. Now we're going to map. Actually... Okay, so here's the question. Do we want... Yeah, I think we're going to want to Unable to Scream here so we can map. Yeah. Okay, so I was thinking, do we want to Sleight of Hand and then Malcolm? I think we're going to keep Malcolm for a play next turn. Then we're going to play Island, and then we're going to Unable to Scream his guy, because it's going to get too much value if we let it sit around. And then we're going to get in for 4. Okay, so next turn we get to Malcolm and Sleight of Hand. Hopefully we Sleight of Hand into a land. And then Malcolm can help us start running away with the game with these flows. I mean, this is not ideal having all these flows, but Malcolm can also discard flows if we're not getting there. Okay, so that's fine. So we'll start with Sleight of Hand here. I think we're just going to take this Scholar, and then we're going to Malcolm end of turn, because we've got some good pressure going on here. So we get to flash in Malcolm. He's going to get some value with his creatures, but we're just so close to lethal that we can just keep playing the tempo plan. We might not even really need these flows. Yeah, this is fine. He'll get to get in some extra damage, but we're just way ahead on this race, so it doesn't really matter. So he's gonna sack his creature. No, his token? I could sacrifice an artifact. You can't sacrifice a creature. What? Oh, it became an artifact, I see. Okay. And okay, so now he's gonna swing, get another map. That's fine. And we're just gonna Malcolm now, and then so we can F6, no blocks. Okay, cool. We got an island. And we're gonna Steam Core here. And discard one of these. Okay, yeah. We saw that coming. Just overwhelming advantage. Alright, so for this matchup, I don't think there's much we want to change. We're gonna be on the draw, and with as many cantrips and sifting as we have, I'm okay taking out whoops, not 20 islands. What the heck? I'm okay taking out 1 island on the draw. And a game like this is often very tempo oriented as well. Sometimes I take out a flow, but that's more against the aggro decks. Against the mid-range decks, it's so good sometimes to just flow and then run into a bunch of Flood Maws and Unable to Scream kind of effects. We can take out a Kiora too. Those in multiples are not amazing all the time. It can be really good with Kiora. Sometimes you can go turn 2 Kiora, turn 3 Kiora again in Legend Rule, and then discarding 2 and sacrifice the Kiora to get thresholds you're attacking to make an 8/8 on turn 4. But yeah, that's not necessarily necessary. But oh, I didn't want this Aegis Turtle. We're pretty close to main decked against mid-range already. So I don't know how much I want to change. I could bring an Out of Air in or something like that just to counter a creature, but a Shore Up possibly, but the removal is not going to be super effective against us anyway. Yeah, we might want to just stay straight up main decked, not even worry about this island thing, just be more consistent. Because our removal should be, I don't know what creature I'm even really scared of. Yeah, let's just stay main decked. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, we're just going to stay main decked. Okay, I think we can keep this. The sifting this deck is so good, and then with the 4 Kioras, the Malcolm, and the Scholars, there's just, it's so easy to deal with Flood. And then with Flow here too. So this isn't ideal. We really want to, we would rather have like a threat to start tempoing out, but this deck can keep a lot of hands. And I think this is actually keepable. Because if we just hit our drops, yeah, that's not amazing for us. Okay, we'll take a Scholar. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is a mulligan? I'm not sure. Okay, we're probably going to need to Flood Maw that. So let's opt here, because we're going to opt. Okay, that's good. We'll keep that. So the question here is, I think we Unable to Scream allow him to have the extra mana from the Llanowar. It's not ideal. We could Unable to Scream the Llanowar, but this Sentinel is so good, I'd really like to Flood Maw it if we're not. And next turn we're tapping out too, so yeah, I think I just have to Unable to Scream. Okay, dude. Mute. Get World Wagon, sure. Get a land. Yeah, so this is good. We didn't get punished by not answering the land war because he has an extra mana he didn't use anyway. And this turn, we're just gonna Scholar. Hopefully find a Profts or... Sure, that's fine. Okay, we'll discard Sleight of Hand. Sure. This is working out quite well so far to not deal with the elf. I mean, the game is not looking great, but... Okay, we found Proft's Eidetic Memory. So at least there's that. If we can Profts here, if we found a creature we can play and set up for a flow next turn, that's... Okay, that's not good. Okay, if we can opt into a Spyglass Siren, then we can win. Or, I mean, then we're in it, maybe. So, Spyglass. Yeah, it's not looking good now. So, I don't know, maybe we got punished for our keep? That is definitely something after... I took like 10 years off of Magic, and coming back, I think I keep too many hands because I was steeped in the era of the old mulligan rule. So I'm used to mulliganing just being so bad. And now it's like not bad at all. Sure. Okay. Sure. Alright, so I'm going to allow him to activate this World Wagon, and then before attacks, I'm going to bounce it. There's no way we're winning this game, though. We just... Okay, that's something, but yeah. So... Okay. So we'll discard these two. Now we get to play an island. We get to unable to scream the Baloth, which means he may not have a way to activate either World Wagons. Okay, now with the opt... The question is, should I Spyglass Siren? I could pump it to a 3/3. I could opt, which would pump my Kiora to a 6/5. And I would really like to be able to opt to find my 6th land next turn and be able to flow and then find an answer. Yeah, I think it's better to opt here, actually. Opt before... Okay, yeah, we're going to take... I think we're just going to keep that. Actually, no. No, I don't think we should keep this because we really want to find Into the Floodmaw for next turn. Because if he gets a creature that's big enough to do the World Wagons anyway... Okay, that's fine. I mean, not ideal, but it's fine. Because, yeah, exactly. This is fine. Because none of these can do anything. They're just getting more lands. None of his creatures can activate an attack. He's just swinging for 1. So we just want to draw... Perfect. That. Because now if he draws a creature that could activate the World Wagon, we can still bounce it. So I think the play here is to... Flow of Knowledge It would have been good if we drew the island into the Flood Maw instead of the other way around, but this is fine, because now we can discard island profts, play an island, play this, and pump it. And then as long as he doesn't kill us this coming turn, I think we get to steal this game from behind. Because even if there's... Okay, but we're not dead. Because he gets to attack for 11. But that's okay. We could block. Should we block? So if we block... Yeah, I think we have to block, unfortunately. Because otherwise we go to 2. Okay, so if we go to 2, then next turn we have the Into the Flood Maw for his guy. He still has to use that to activate it. That could... interesting. We're going to go no blocks here, actually. I don't know. This might be wrong, but... we're taking it. Okay, double Flood Maw. That's good. So now we can go Island. We can flow. Now we can discard Island and Malcolm. Then triple Flood Maw is really good here. I think we can get out of this. So now, because we should have a turn 2 clock here now. Yeah, so we go to combat. Buff our guy. Attack. And then the Flood Maws should keep us alive. We can take the 1 from the elf. I guess, oh, he has foods. Huh. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. He's going to crack these foods, so it might not be a 2-turn clock. Maybe the Kiora gets us there still? Well, whatever. Here's where we are. Yeah, we're going to end turn now, so we'll see what happens. He's going to crack these foods, obviously. So, 11... $20. Okay. We can't really attack for 20. But... he still has to use the Bristlebud. This is fine. So, because he has to use the Bristlebud to activate the wagon. I have to wait for the wagon to attack. Otherwise, he could use the wagon to activate another wagon after I bounce it in response. But that's fine. So we allow the wagon to attack, search out a land, then we're going to Into the Flood Maw the wagon. And we're good. Plays it post-combat. That's fine. And go to my turn. Okay, so we can't attack for 20 here, but he's left with the same issue. He can't do anything. So we're going to Kiora. We have double Flood Maw still. So we can discard 2 islands. Yep, got him. Yeah, so that's why I got rid of that one Unable to Scream, because it doesn't The point is that I want the instant speed interaction. If I have both, I could use the instant speed for one turn to fade his World Wagon, and then unable to scream the thing that was activating it. But each into the Flood Maw is basically buying me another turn. Okay, I think that's it for today. I just wanted to kind of give a test vibe of this, so give me a follow or something, and maybe I'll keep making these. I love Pauper too, so if you want to see some Pauper, please comment, leave me a comment. I'll make some Pauper videos. I have like 20 decks of Pauper in paper. So yeah, thanks for watching. Tempo MTG, Charles, take care.